Welcome to Seven Trumpets Prepper. And guys, in this video today, I want to tell you that if you have not began being a prepper and making preparation for what's to come, you are putting your life at risk at this point. Right now, one side of the country is frozen and one side of the country is on fire. Not only that, across the world, earthquakes, famines, plagues, sickness. Dude, like, even if you said you weren't a person that believed in the apocalyptic events of the end days, I think we're on a fair level playing field at this point that we could all say that we are living during some apocalyptic times. And I know a lot of people's going to say that I'm just over exaggerating situations and such. Let me tell you something. There's something fundamentally wrong when we know that there's direct energy weapons. I seen a guy post a video where that he made a small one in his like garage or whatever and was shooting cardboard and shooting I think it was plastic and a bunch of combustible stuff, and it was just, I mean, just, you know, light it up. And people were showing where like a palm tree was literally on fire in somebody's yard, and yet nothing else around it was on fire. Which, you know, a laser shot right through that, it would light that up. And they were showing pictures of where that lasers were coming down and that vehicles are burnt, very weird, burnt up, which now I've seen people make an argument that the temperature of the burning of the vehicle itself got hot enough to melt some of it, blah, blah. I don't know. I'm not a vehicle guy. So I'm just going to leave that one for court of public opinion. But, you know, you have all these houses, and then what's his old boy Tom Hanks's house? Of course, the fire stopped short of his house. You know, because they've said all sorts of stuff about Tom Hanks. You just do your research on that. You know which circles he runs in. So all this stuff, you have all these houses burning down, just like in Maui. I'd be curious if any houses with blue roofs was the ones that didn't burn up. And you have the reservoir being emptied for maintenance a while back. And then what was the other thing? Oh yeah, and then Farm Bureau. Shame on you, Farm Bureau. That's who I have insurance through, is that they dropped most of the people's homeowners insurance out there. So whenever this broke out, that, you know, here they are, all their stuff's gone. And, you know, the wild thing is that now not only is I think the Olympics supposed to come to LA in 28, they're wanting LA to be a smart city, is one of the smart cities slated, I think, for 2028 to be a smart city. And as a construction person that works in the construction industry trade, 3 years, you could do a lot of development in LA with the right construction resources. You could do a lot of development for a smart city in 3 years. Actually, let's see, 25, 26, 27, 4 years. Yeah, I mean, depending on the time frame in 28 when they're actually wanting it slated to be finished, you actually got about 4 years. So a lot of sketchy stuff with that. But, you know, as we approach the return of Messiah and the new kingdom, you know, you just look at the moving and shaking, like the fires. I was thinking about this, gas mask and just other things, is that with all the fires, and then if you had Yellowstone pop off, and then you have a nuclear event pop off, the amount of particulate that's in the air, whether it be, you know, from chemical plants being burnt down, whether it be from lava debris and blast into the upper atmosphere, whether it be nuclear related material in the air. I mean, there is a lot of risk for a lot of bad things to happen to people. Not only that, food supply disrupted. I dropped off a vehicle for repair the other day, and just in the time frame of it getting repaired, which was not a rush, but they were like, "Oh, we'll have it done today," and I'm like, "Nah, you won't. I probably not." And then, sure enough, they canceled the parts truck run because, you know, then bad weather's ensued here. And I'm gonna be stuck at the farm here for probably a few days myself, 2 days at least. And you know, it's just crazy. Like, people don't think about having a backup generator. People don't think about having backup power. People don't think about having food. People don't think about having heat. I fired up propane the other night and just got the house like an inferno in here just to be extra warm. And people are not thinking about this. And I went to Walmart the other day just to grab a little bit of extra stuff. And, you know, it occurred to me that somebody had mentioned this to me recently, and I'm not meaning to ramble, guys. This is just all encompassing thoughts that's coming to my mind. Is that when I went in Walmart there the other day, I was thinking around, and there was just people, swarms of people everywhere. And you know, of course, people were scrambling to get stuff together, just like back when the pork closure thing was going on. And we were just getting, you know, weekly groceries and stuff, and odds and ends. And I thought to myself, I was like, you know, Second Esdras talks. I think it's Second Esdras talks about that there'll be a time come when the world will be just pretty much, you know, really hard to find another living being between one another. And I really hate I can't find script. I'll tell you what, I'll find his text. I'll put it in the video description below. I also put in the video description below, I believe, about the reservoir stuff. I'll try to put a lot of these things in the video description below today, guys, because I'm learning this new video editor. I'm using Splice instead of Pinnacle Pro, so I'm going to have to learn how to edit this new stuff, especially with this 4K video and all this stuff. I'm trying to produce better content quality, you know, and not grainy anymore. And so I thought about that, and I'm like, you know, especially with people taking part in the events that took place between 2019 and 2014, and that 72 percentile that I told you all about recently in the video, which I'm shocked has not been taken down. I am so shocked. Oh, but anyway, you know, they talked about all that, you know, that many people took part in that thing, is that if we have a massive die-off, which I'm watching right now, 30s and 40-year-olds especially die off, seems to be interesting. That it's that age group that's dying off right now. And I think, though, that's because, you know, we're all very active in this age group. We're working, we're grinding. Those people that's really wanting to have a quality of life for their family, they're out there grinding, they're working hard. So, you know, a lot of blood flows going, and you know what happens with stuff that's in your blood that can clog up. So I'll just leave it at that before we get too far in and get in trouble. So, you know, you have that. And so when we have the exit of the workforce, you know, 2/3 of the population, you're going to see a massive reset. And I think that, you know, before my dad died, he thought that people that participated in that would only live a few years. And I got to be honest with you, me and him were on the same page on that. I thought so too. And people that's very active, it seems like that's been within the bounds. But, you know, if you're wanting a great reset, the great reset by 2030, and all these smart cities and the utopia of the New World Order and Satan's kingdom and all that right now, Dominion. I want to say Dominion. I'm going to stop saying Satan's kingdom. I want to say Satan's dominion right now. You know, if you consider upon that, what we're dealing with, I mean, by 2030, you can definitely see a different paradigm. And so if you're not preparing right now, I mean, these next 4 or 5 years before all this really kicks off, I mean, this dynamic massively shifts, I think that I would do something. I think I would get prepared, because you're putting your life at risk. You're putting your family at risk. I mean, I don't know, guys. To me, it ain't worth playing with it at this point, because, I mean, let me run you this scenario. Blizzard of 93, when I was a little boy, the power went out for days. In that time frame, I believe my dad had propane heat for the house, and I think that's how Mom and Dad kept us from freezing out. And we stayed, I think, in just a couple rooms in the house. We really, you know, micro-sized what we needed on everything during that time frame. And our neighbor up the road brought his backhoe down the road and cleared the road, because it was like 3 days in and no services was coming. Here we are in 2025, and the government's not even coming to clear the road now. So now they want your tax money. They just ain't gonna come clear that road, baby. So, you know, like, I look back at that and I'm like, the world dynamic then, people still had like propane heat, wood stoves. You know, they had food stores put back, you know, because we lived on farm, we canned food, we had a ton of food put back. You know, a lot of preparedness was in everyday life. Nowadays, everybody like goes meals prep maybe per day or per every few days to the store. Nothing's ever set back. Your only heat source or cooling source is your air conditioning unit or mini split on the wall. I mean, like, there's there's just no fallback if things go sideways. Nobody hardly has protection. They think the police is going to come save their life. Like, I mean, they ain't thinking about biological, chemical, nuclear breakouts. I mean, it's a lot to digest. And I know when I started, I guess the last thing I'll say this is when I started prepping in 2009, in the winter of 2009, when I come out of Babylon, the pagan church house. And when I say pagan church house, because the modern church is nowhere in line with Scripture and the Torah at all, like just miles apart. And so when I, turned back to getting in the way and trying to do the right thing, I just had this full meltdown. I was like, oh my gosh, we have to have backup power immediately. We have to have food. We have to have water. We have to have backup water source. We have to have backup power source. Just, all this punch list. And here I am in 2025, and I'm like, we're this close to finishing the off-grid power enough to power the entire farm. It's just getting a wire from one spot to another. Even if the apocalypse happened at this point, we could get it done as long as the wire's on the side. So I'm trying to rest easy about that. Water, same situation. It's okay. There's a lot of things that, like here it is almost 15 years later, and it's real close to finish. But it's took years of hard work to pay that off. It's took years and years of preparation. I still need like 5 more years to prepare to the level that I even feel like that if things fall apart and we don't have AI robots kicking my door down to kill me and drones flying over to bomb my house and being sprayed with poison or direct energy weapons burning up my farm by the government, like I can maintain. That don't mean like I got 27 parts laying in the shed in case Jonathan needs a part for a tractor. That doesn't mean I have, an extra wood stove for the spot that I'm putting that one in to replace the other one, because I need this one here and that one there. Like, there's just that 2 is 1 and 1 is none thing is so real. And I just think that people have not stopped at all to consider man, I need to get prepared, even a drip, to survive what's coming, because it's going to get bad out here. And I don't think nobody's thinking about it at all. I don't think people's thought about it for a long time. And I think people's getting lulled to sleep, that they care more about the next TV show coming out and the next football game than to actually get prepared for what is about to break loose on this earth. And I don't think it'll be long after Trump goes in office. I mean, I really feel like that Fascism 2.0 is about to grip this earth. I know people have disagreed with me, and this is the last thing I'll say. I'm going to literally end this video on this. Is that, and matter of fact, I'm going to mention this in the TikTok video that I'm about to make after this one, so make sure to check it out too. Is that fascism, no matter what, I believe that communism, socialism, even capitalism, everything, always roads lead back to fascism. Now, the reason I believe that is because if you look at it, if Satan was at the head of a government, that would be the way that his government would be ran, okay? Because you look at how fascism operates, the mechanisms, the machinations of it, it's always that way. Somebody said that about sci-fi films, about Star Wars. They said, why is it always leads back to fascism? Well, I mean, it's because that I think even in Hollywood, in wicked Hollywood, that they see that the mechanisms of all things when it comes to corruption, especially government, it always leads to fascism. Look at how Nero, look at ancient Rome, look at these things. They wouldn't be specifically labeled fascism, but that's what you're dealing with. And so I'm telling you, you're going to have that to deal with too. So I'm not saying you're going to have to go down the street and throw the sig hail up, but it's going to be a different packaging of fascism very soon too, I'm pretty sure. So guys, I'm telling you, if you haven't started preparing in life, I am telling you today, as a person that has been preparing for 15 years roughly now, I am telling you as a person that goes out continuously and has done it for a decade now, bolting people down off-grid, that there is very few people that are making the effort to get prepared. And when this all falls apart, people are going to try to unalive each other to take from one another what little can of beans they got on the shelf and etc. It's going to get ugly out here, friends. And you don't want to be caught up in that. So guys, as always, till we see you again here at 7 Trump's Prepper Channel, hope Most High Yah Baruch you and keep you, make his face shine upon you, show you favor, and give you shalom, my friends, in Yahushua and I.